Now, the Zondo Commission made a damning indictment on the Fifth Parliament. It says they have failed in their duties because they were simply unwilling to do them. Parliament's presiding officers said that today they were taking legal advice on how to process the Commission's recommendations that relate to the legislature. So let's find out exactly what that means. Lindsay Dentlinger unpacking that for us. Hello to you, Lindsay. Why has Judge Raymond Zondo Commission been so critical against Parliament, especially relating to the investigations of the Gupta's role in state capture?
So Judge Raymond Zondo essentially, Gareth, has found, he said he didn't see that there was any reason why Parliament were not investigating the allegations, the media reports, all those reports that were swirling as far back as 2011 when it related to reports of the Gupta's influence in state capture, and the judge saying by the very latest 2013 there was enough information in the public domain to warrant that Parliament conduct inquiries, that they exercise their oversight, that they within their various portfolio committees did more to probe exactly what was going on and to get to the bottom of these reports. And it wasn't until 2017 when House Chairperson Cedric Froelich essentially wrote to four of Parliament's committees demanding really that they initiate inquiries into these allegations of state capture, that something happened, although we know now that only the ESCOM inquiry of the Public Enterprises Committee was the only one that really made some type of effort to get to the bottom of these allegations, and that the other committees did very little or nothing at all. And so really the Commission has found that MPs really chose the party line. They hid behind so-called party discipline rather than take seriously their oath of office as MPs, rather than exercising accountability. They hid behind the party shield, and the judge going as far as to say they were unwilling to do their job as MPs, but the Council for the Advancement of the South African Constitution saying it's not surprised at all by this finding, because Parliament has really been found wanting in doing their job properly for years, dating back to 2016 when the Constitutional Court issued that judgment on President Jacob Zuma's eNCA home. Here's the Council's Lawson Naidoo speaking to me earlier today about these findings.
I mean, if we go back to the aftermath of the eNCA judgment, for example, where the Constitutional Court found that Parliament had failed to exercise its constitutional duties, Parliament has done nothing to interrogate that judgment and say, how do we need to fix our systems in order for that not to happen again? Nothing's been done by Parliament since that judgment in 2016. We certainly hope that Parliament will now take these recommendations seriously, engage with them, engage with other stakeholders. Or civil society organizations like CASAC have been making recommendations and proposals about strengthening the integrity of Parliament for a long time now. And Parliament has got nowhere to hide anymore. They need to start looking at these issues and taking them seriously. So the establishment of a committee on the President or the Presidency is an important one. So is the proposal CASAC has made that Parliament should give consideration to portfolio committees being chaired by opposition members of Parliament as well.
All right, Lindsay, hearing Lawson Naidoo talk about the eNCA judgment. Let's go there next. The former president hitting back scathingly at the Commission today. Tell me about how he responded to the findings against him.
Well, Gareth, I think the expectations were that we were going to hear from the former president himself responding to the recommendations or the findings made against him in several volumes of the state capture report, but he was not present at that press conference today. His daughter saying that he would have loved to have been there to be with, as she put it, his favorite people, the media, but that his parole conditions would have been violated if he attended. But certainly those from his foundation who represented him today, the expectation was that he would respond to some of these allegations, but in turn he rather hit back at the Commission itself, the legitimacy of the Commission, claiming that it was not legitimately formed, that the Judge Raymond Zondo was not legitimately appointed. We shouldn't lose sight of the fact that it was President Jacob Zuma at the time who initiated this Commission of Inquiry into state capture shortly before he was removed from office, so he was the initiator of it. He says he should have been the one who should have been allowed to appoint the judge to chair this commission, and that he now intends to lay a complaint against the Chief Justice at the Judicial Services Commission in relation to this work that the foundation deems to have been unlawful. Here's a representative from the foundation speaking on the former president's behalf today.
So I think the president's first blunder amongst many was the fact that he said 4 months. It should have been 4 hours. So I can tell you with absolute certainty that within the first 2 weeks of July, you will have a full report from the Democratic Alliance outlining the new ways of parliamentary procedure and the way Parliament should operate, still within the guidelines, how we adapt the rules of Parliament, how we adapt the guidelines of Parliament, and how we can make sure that Judge Raymond Zondo's wishes are adhered to in a quick and fast manner. And it will be done in a way that by the time the third Parliament starts to sit, which will be around the 1st of August, those recommendations will be implementable, and you will see a new act of Parliament for the people, not for the governing party, by the third term of Parliament.
Oh, Lindsay, as I'm sure our viewers would have picked up as well, there wasn't the representative, that was Natasha Mazzoni, of course, from the Democratic Alliance, giving us reaction to what we'd heard as far as the former president and the state capture report is concerned. Just before I let you go now, of course, she was talking there about what Parliament does to pull up their socks. Has there been any reaction from any other opposition parties yet? Very briefly.
From the presiding officers today that they are taking legal advice as to how to process these reports. We know the DA has been quite vociferous for several months now, wanting Parliament to take action a lot quicker and not wait for the president, who says he will table the full set of reports and his plan of action, Gareth, within 4 months. But the DA says that is too long. The Commission of Inquiry has been going on for a number of years. Government should have been more proactive along the way in coming up with its action plan, and as you heard in that sound clip, the DA's Natasha Mazzoni and laying out the plan to me, that she says the party will be tabling within the next 2 weeks. You will recall they are in recess, but she says that is her plan that you've just heard there, that she will bring to Parliament. As to how it amends rules, you also heard Lawson Naidoo talk about some of those recommendations made by the Zondo Commission. For example, that a committee be established to keep a watch over the president, that Parliament look into having opposition MPs chair some of the committees to improve oversight. And so these are some of the things the DA says it already has a plan of action that it will bring to Parliament to amend the House rules and the laws that govern the way Parliament works, to make sure that Parliament is more robust in doing their work, and that ultimately they take up those recommendations made by the Commission.
And Lindsay Dendlinger, on top of the reaction to what the former president had to say about the state capture inquiry, the story going to unfold with lots of counter-accusations and no doubts investigations as well. Lindsay Dendlinger from Cape Town for us. Appreciate your time.